Okay, should be up now. Like I did the last month, I'm just going to kind of hang out for a minute, wait and see when people start to show up and when they come online. So. One second, I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for another minute or so here and make sure that everyone's starting to get connected up here before I really get started. My little icon doohickey right there still says 0, so I can't tell if anyone's actually watching or not yet anyway. But I'm going to go ahead and get started here in just another minute or so, because right now it's 1:03, so I should be starting here momentarily. So I'm going to give it till 1:05. Actually, it just turned 1:04. So I'm going to give it another minute, maybe possibly 2 at the most, before I officially start. And we will get going. Sorry, my camera's a little I have a little goober on there. Sorry, I'm going to turn the light here for just a second. Clean that off. I think I just made it worse. I think that's better. There we go. Okay. I had a big old goober on my on my camera. So, all right. Here in just another minute or so, we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, we have people on. It says I have 4 people now. Alright, so start off with, like I usually do, I'm going to start off here, of course, with our bosses. I've got it on the wrong screen, of course. There we go. So there's a boss. That is definitely a reused boss. That's an older one. I think we actually had that recently, too. Looks to be Fire and Spirit, I think. Possibly Fire Water. But hard to tell. Then we have the next boss, which is a new boss, I think. That looks new to me. Anyway, looks like a cat with, like, you know, kind of a saber-toothed looking cat sort of thing. Some effects. There's the head of one that does look new, and that one definitely has been used before. So number 3 is a new one, I think. Pretty sure. And number 4 is a reused one. So we're going to have a reused raid boss armor, most likely. So there's our 2 bosses, right there and there. So those are the 2 bosses. Now, one thing I wanted to mention right off the bat is, since there are 3 weekends in March that should have raids, I'm pretty positive that these files are incomplete so far, because there should be 3 bosses. Unless, for some reason, they're deciding to use the very last weekend in March as part of April, which is possible. But if they are doing that, then April will start like a day or so before April actually starts, meaning the month of April, the calendar for April will start just before. But if that's the case, then everything should be where it is, and we're not missing anything in the data other than possibly pets, which I still don't have pets yet, but that's not that surprising. Same thing happened last month. But for this month, again, we have the 2 bosses. If there is more data later, I will, of course, add it to the sheet and update it, of course, on KnD bot as well. But there's our bosses. Now we're going to get into the armors, which is what most everyone wants to see already anyway. So there is our exclusive. That guy right there is fire and fire. So that's our dual fire exclusive right off the bat. So armor number 1 is fire and fire, and that is the male. That's a reused boss. That is, I think, the one that's going to go with that raid boss that I just mentioned that had been reused, had been used before. That one is Earth and Air, I think, originally. I can't remember the name. But that's an Earth and Air boss, or Earth and Air armor, excuse me, originally. So that one's most likely going to go with the reused boss. So that boss is Fire Spirit after all. I thought it was, but couldn't really tell. So that one is Fire and Spirit. That's armor number 2, and that's raid boss number 1, or raid boss armor number 1. That's fire and spirit on that one, and that one is, I believe, the male also. Looks like it. And then we have a fire and water. That's a new one. Kind of has a spike like that air and fire we had just recently, but I kind of like the look of it. It's kind of got like this wizard sort of hat on it. It's kind of cool looking. That is armor number 3, and that's fire and water. And once I get all through these, I'll of course probably go through and say which ones I think will probably be seasonals versus events, etc. And this one here is the female version of that one. And we have a reskin again. This one is the Grizzly Executioner. That was an exclusive Spirit and Earth from season 16, 17, something like that. I can't remember exactly. So that one is that. So that's armor 4, which is fire and air. Not sure if I like the fire and air look of it, to be honest. I mean, it's cool looking and everything, but I kind of like the original Spirit and Earth look of it originally. There's another new one. That is also fire and spirit. That is the other raid boss armor. You can see this little spike thing going around the outside of the shield there that matches the boss. So they are fire, spirit, and fire water like I thought they would be, which makes sense because they're sticking with adjacent elements for the raids. So it's fire, water, number 2, but this is raid armor number 2. And that is the male as well. Okay. There's the female of the exclusive, fire and fire. There's another fire spirit. That one will likely be an sorry, drawing a blank. That one should be our fusion. Unless they have another event with a fire and spirit in it. Because we have the fire and spirit raid, and then we have a fire and spirit that would have normally been exclusive prior to them switching to adjacent, or to dual element exclusives. So that one is armor number 6, which is fire and spirit. That is fire and spirit number 2. That one is the male as well, and that one will most likely be the fusion armor. That is fire and air. This is the female variant of that one. There is the step down from ascended version, I believe. Actually, hang on, I may have messed up. That's fire and spirit. Let me look at this one. No, that is the right one. Okay, so this is the step down from ascended. So this is the female, but the step down from ascended. So evolution 1, as I like to call it. There is the male of the dual fire, but unascended. There is the female of the fire and water, which was, I think, this one. Yep, okay. That's the female of that one. And there's another new one. That is also fire and water. So that one, I'm sorry for clearing my throat. I've got a frog in my throat as per the norm. Cleanse my palate somewhat. Okay, so that's fire and water. Number 3? Number 3. Armor 7, fire water. I think that's also, that's female actually, sorry. That's the female of that one. And the male, but unascended of the same one. Odd that they have it out of order. Okay. Yeah, it is. That's the male, but the unascended. Male in evolution 1. And the female. Evolution 1. And there's the female of the most likely fusion armor, which was this one, I think. Yep, okay. If I could get my damn throat to clear and stay clear, that would be helpful. Sorry, trying not to clear my throat directly into the microphone and deafen everyone. There's the female unascended of the dual fire exclusive. There is the raid armor number 2 fire water, which I think was this one right here. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. See this one right here. Yep, there we go. So that's the male but unascended. Okay. And there's another new one. That is fire and spirit as well. Okay. So that means we have 1, 2, 3 fire spirits, 1, 2, 3 fire airs, or sorry, 1, 2, 3 fire waters, excuse me. 1 fire air so far, and 1 dual fire. So we have 3 of each of the adjacents. So that's going to be an interesting month. So this one is 18, that one is, whoops, armor 8, which is fire and spirit as well, and that one is the male. Yep. And there's the female of the raid armor, which was, I think, this one. Yes, it was. Okay. And there is the male. I think that's the base of the male. I think, maybe. So this one. Hang on. It does look basically the same. It's hard to say. I mean, they are both male, but which one's which is the question. Let's zoom in here a bit. The colors are slightly different, specifically on the head and the shield and stuff, but not distinctly different otherwise. Huh. That's a weird one. They look very, very similar, though. It's a little bit paler on the color scheme here on this head is a little bit paler. It's not quite as bright and vivid as this one is. That's really the only clear difference I can see. The horns are the same on both. The legs look the same on both. Maybe one of them is male, one of them is female, and I'm not clearly seeing it. Let's see, let's look at the arms. That's an easy way to check. This one is the female. Okay, so 20 is the female then. Alright. So 20 is the female of the same one. So it's this one here? Yes, okay. So it's the female after all. It didn't look like a female to me, but it is. Weird. Hard to tell sometimes. And there is the reskin of the earth and air. That is the male. I believe that's the base of this one here. Yes, okay. So that is the male, or sorry, male evolution one. Not base, not quite there yet. And there is a fire and earth. Okay, so there's our fire and earth seasonal, because there's no other armors, and I think there's only 9 in total. So that means that's the fire and earth seasonal right there. Okay, so armor number 9, fire earth. And they have been doing that a lot lately. They'll have one, like this last month, like, well, I should say this last month, February we're in right now, except for the Valentine's armor, which was spirit and water, water spirit, sorry. We had just the one water spirit, which was the seasonal. So in this case, we have fire and earth, which is a seasonal as well. And unless there's another armor I haven't seen, which I didn't see a 10th armor in here when I looked through it the first time, this will be the only fire and earth, and therefore it'll be the seasonal. So, anyway, moving on. That was the fire and spirit down here, I think. No, definitely not that one. Definitely not. And not that one either. So this one? Wait a minute. Did I miss it? Oh, I did. Sorry. It's right there. Derp. Okay. So that's just the unascended version of this one. And there is the male of the fire and water up here, which I think was this one? Yeah. That's the ascended version of that one. Okay, there's the female, I believe, base of the fire and spirit Yep, that one right there. That's the base of that one. Okay, there's the female of this fire and spirit right here. Yes, sir. Okay. And there is the male, unascended, of the fire and water, which I think was this one. Yep. My phone is going buzz, 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 because people are messaging me. Set that aside so it's not as obvious and noisy in the microphone. Okay, so that's the male of that one. And there's the fire and spirit, which was this one. That's the female. Yes, it is. Good, good. Got the unascended version. There's the female of the fire and spirit up here at the top. That was the base. Oh, whoops. I did the wrong one. This one's actually the male. And that one, number 29, is the female. There we go. Much better. Okay, there is the base of the male, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's the base of the male of the raid armor, the other raid armor, which is fire and water. Which was this one? No, definitely not that one. There we go. That one right there. Okay, there is the fusion armor. That's the female. The fire and spirit, which was this one. No, keep clicking on the wrong one. That one right there. So that's the step down from Max, or the Ascended version. But the female, I clicked on the wrong one. It's okay. I can always rename. And there's the male. Okay, cool. There is the base of the male of the water and fire. Whoops. Double clicking too many times. That one? No. Good lord. It's too many. It's throwing me off. Okay, that one right there. That's the base of the male. There is the Grizzly Executioner reskin. That's the male. I believe that's the base. Or is that just one? That's just one step down from Ascension. Sorry. Wrong one. And there's the female. That makes it easy. And there's the female base of the fire water. It was. No crap sake, stop it. That one. Okay. I need the. That's the male. Female base, I think. Did I do it again? I did it again. I renamed the wrong one. I renamed it as the wrong one, I should say. Oh, for crap's sake. Click, you stupid thing. That's the base. There we go. Okay. There's the fire and earth, the very last one. This is the female of that one, but unascended. Which is odd that they're coming out of order, but it's actually based on the file size. Meaning the file size as it comes out of the data file is in order from the top to the bottom, in order of size. So the biggest armor is at the very top, the smallest armor is at the very bottom, and then of course we have the ring and amulet sets, the heads, all the rest of the stuff below that. So it just comes out in the order of the size of the files. So it's not like it's, you know, the fire is supposed to be first necessarily, it just happens to be the biggest in the list of files that came out, or the list of the images that came out of it. Have I gone over the fire yet? Yes, I have. It is right there. It's the very first armor, actually, that came out of the files. That guy right there. That's the male Ascended version. And I'll be assembling these, of course, in a little while as well. So, all right. So this one is the water and fire and spirit. Excuse me, I keep saying water because we're in the water month right now. That one? Yes, that's the base of the male of that one right there. Yeah, it does actually look pretty cool. I like the looks of... oh, hang on. Fire and air. We do have 10 armors. Okay, never mind. I was wrong. There actually are 10 armors. So this is armor 10, fire air. So there actually are 2 fire airs, but still only 1 fire earth. So that's the female, I believe, of the fire and air. So there are 10 armors, in fact. Okay. So there is the fire and earth unascended of the male. There's the fire and earth ascended of the female. Stop it. Stupid computer. I need to get more RAM. I've decided this thing's starting to bog down on me. Fire and water. Yep, that one right there. That's the female base of this guy. Oops, might help if I could type base. There we go. There's that one we just looked at. That is the male unascended. There's the female of the fire and water. I think it was this one. No, not that one. That one's already filled in. That one's already filled in. Oh, it was that one. Okay. So that's the step down from ascension on the very first fire and water. There's the base version of the dual fire for the male. There's the fire and air, the second fire and air, but that's the male ascended version. There, I think, is the base of the male of the fire and water at the top. Armor number 3, I believe. Yep, that's it right there. Okay. And there's the female. That makes it easy. Okay, that's done. And now we have the Grizzly Executioner reskin. The first fire and air, that's the base of that one. Oops. Base, done. That's the female base of the fire and spirit. I think it was this one. No, sir, it was not. Oh, hang on. No, that's not it, definitely. It's the wrong head shape entirely. It's this one here. Yes, sir, it is that one. So that's the base of the female of that one. No, wrong one. There we go. And there's the one I just looked at, which was the fire and spirit up here. Yes, sir. That is the base of the male of that one. There's the base male of the fire and earth. The base female of the dual fire. Female unascended of the fire and air, the second one. The base of the fusion armor, which I believe is the fusion armor anyway, versus that one. That's the female base. We are just about done, actually. So there's fire and air male base right there. There's the Grizzly Executioner reskin female base, which is the other fire and air, which is right... Where the hell is it? There it is. That's the female base of that one. And there's the female base of the fire and air. Okay. I think that's it. Well, the fire earth. Sorry, I forgot there's still the fire earth female base one. That's the only thing. That's the only one I think we have left. Yep. So there's our cape. That's our cape for the month. I thought it was missing, and then somebody pointed out to me that it wasn't missing. It was just I hadn't seen it because I've only been looking at the armors, which are the first 59 of the armor images. So I just had missed it. So there's the cape. It's, of course, going to be fire-themed because it's Fire Month, surprisingly. Not really. So there's the cape, and I'm going to move the cape files. So there's 60. Give me just a second here. 60, 76, 60, 76, and 82. 60, 76, and 82. There's always 3 images of the capes in the files. The reason why that is because if I go back into, let me just close that. If I go back into here, we have what we call the avatar, the kind of circle-shaped, emblem of it with the little body just in front of it. He's trying to kind of show you what it would look like. And then we have the wings opened and the wings closed. So this would be like in battle, at rest. So there's usually 2 versions of each one. So So this one would be like what it would look like when you're in battle. This is what you'd look like when you're just standing still. So before battle. So you can see it's out versus in. Anyway, just something I wanted to point out while we were on that topic. Okay, so now we're going to go into the heads and rings and amulet sets. That is our fusion armor, which I think was this one. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. So that's the fusion armor, or at least I think is the fusion armor. It looks like it probably would be, because they don't usually use reskins for the on-element fusion armors. So that's the head of that one. Then we have next, we have the fire and, was it fire and air? No, wrong one. Fire and water, I think. That one right there. Okay, cool. That's our armor number 7's head. There's the, is it the other fire water, I think? Or was it a fire spirit? Might have been a fire spirit. Nope, not that one, definitely. It's not that one either. Maybe I'm just smoking crack and it's actually at the bottom here. It's not the fire and earth for sure. It's not the fire and air. What the hell? Which one is it? Oh, it's fire and spirit. It's just the one at the bottom. I was looking at the wrong one. It was fire and spirit. I just was missing what I was looking for. Okay, moving on. There's our dual fire head. So that's armor 1. I can just do that one manually. That one is the fire and water. Not the raid armor, the one down below it. I think it was. Or maybe it was fire spirit. I'm smoking crack again. No, there it is right there. Okay, it was fire water, I thought so. Whoops. Clicking the help menu on accident is not very helpful. Trying to close Windows and I'm accidentally clicking on the help menu, which I really don't actually need help. Thank you very much, though. There's our fire and earth, I believe. Yes, sir. Fire and earth. It does have a very distinctive fire and fire look to it, though, I have to say. It doesn't look particularly earth to me. I mean, there is some green, of course, to it, but it looks more fire and fire. But whatever. I'm going to look at it again just to be safe. Yeah, there's definitely earth blocks and earth swirls. That's definitely fire and earth. Okay. Just making sure. Okay. Moving on. There's our fire and air at the very bottom, I believe. Yep. I have to say, I do in general like the look of the fire and air armors. I just don't like their stats. There's the reskin of the Grizzly Executioner. There is the fire and water raid armor, I believe. Nope, not that one. It's this one here. Yes, that one right there. So that's raid armor number 2. As I said earlier, you may not have been watching at the time, but we have fire, water, and fire spirit raids, which is expected. Always adjacent elements. There's the other raid armor, which is fire and spirit at the top right there. That is a reskin as well. That one was originally air and earth, if memory serves. Don't recall the name of it. Okay, now we're getting into rings and amulets. Yep, okay. So Grizzly Executioner reskin is the first one, which was this one here, if memory serves. Yes, it was. So this is the ring, matching the original ring, of course, except for the color scheme. That's the ring. I'm going to go ahead and grab the amulet because it's right there after it. There's the amulet. Okay. And the one just before it, that one is the raid armor, which is the fire and water. Right there. That is the amulet for the raid armor. Looks just like the shield. And then we have that one, which goes with the raid armor, the fire and spirit raid armor up here at the top. That was the original amulet that went with this one, if memory serves. Just, again, different color scheme. Different color palette, if you will. Oh, for fuck's sake, stop it. Windows is freaking out on me. I definitely need to get more RAM for this computer. It is not liking me. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead and grab the ring for it really quick. That's it right there. The 88 is the ring for that same armor, the other raid armor. I figured I'd just get it out of the way really quick while I was on that one already. Okay, so that one is it this one? Yes, it is. Looks just like the shield. Okay, perfect. That makes it easy. So that one is the amulet for that one. That one is the raid armor's ring, because it has those same kind of gold, spiky circle shapes to it. So that one is the fire and water. Sorry, not fire and spirit. It's the fire and water. This one right here. Yes, it is. It looks just like the weapon. Good, good, good. Makes it easy. Okay. That's the ring. That one is the fire and water. Okay, was this one? Yep. Looks just like, oh, not that one, sorry. Wrong one. Looks just like this one. Looks just like the shield. But of course, because it's air, it has a different color scheme to it. Because the ring, of course, is fire, the ring and the amulets are air. So it's going to have a different color scheme on the amulets on most of these, but the rings will have kind of all have a fire theme. And that one, I believe, is the amulet for the other kind of steampunk-looking one, which I think was where'd it go? Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Not even close. That one. That's the fusion armor. Sorry. And again, because it's fire and spirit, it has a definite spirit look to it because it's a spirit amulet. Okay. There is our fire and earth, I believe. Yep, looks just like the shield. It's our fire and earth amulet. And that one is a fire and water, by the looks of it. Or which one? I don't know. Not that one, for sure. Oh, is it this one? No, definitely not. That one we already got. That one right there. So armor number 3. Looks just like the shield, again, but different color scheme. Because it's water instead of fire. Okay, moving on. We have, I'm going to guess that's the ring, but not for that one. Maybe. Hang on. Nope. Totally the wrong color scheme. Nope, not that one either. Look anything like that one. Might be that one. Maybe. Because it has the dots, the kind of the yellowy dots right there, but I will come back to that one. I'm not sure if it's actually that one or not, but it might be. Of course, this one also has the same dots on it, too, so I do need a ring for that one. Kind of matches the color scheme of this one a lot better anyway. I'm going to say for now this one goes with the fusion armor. Or what I think is the fusion armor. I keep saying it's the fusion armor, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to assume that for now it's going to go with this one. Until I find another ring that matches that one better, this one's going with that one. For the time being. And that one... And are you kidding me? I literally just did that. I think I literally just did that. I did. Looks just like the frickin' shield. I literally just renamed it. It looks just like it. Son of a bitch. I hate when I do that. Okay, so I literally just renamed this one right here to go with that one, and it clearly doesn't. It's probably actually my my exclusive. I'm just being a derp. Okay, so this one is actually, we're going to rename this one as 83 because I got that one wrong clearly. So this one actually goes there. There we go. Okay, let's close that. Go back up to the top here. So if I go to the amulet looks just like the shield. And if you look at this shape right here, and then I go to the right here and show off the amulet, it has the same shape. It's just flipped. So instead of it going down like this, it's kind of turned this way. So it looks just like that shape. Looks just like the shape of the shield. It has the same dots, the same kind of top. Oops. The same kind of top colored, little off colored bits right there. Same top colored off. It's exactly the same. I just didn't see it. Okay, moving on. Like I said, sometimes I miss these things. So that one is the fire and water, I believe. Is it this one? No, not that one. It's fire and spirit. What am I doing? That one. Yep. Looks just like the shield. Whoops. Copy. There we go. And of course it is the ring of that one. So it's going to have a fire look to it. Okay, that one is, I think... No. It looks like it somewhat, but not enough like it. That one might be our exclusive amulet. I'm going to come back to that one as well. That one's our fusion, I believe. Fusion armor. Oops. Yes. Not that one. Fire water. What am I doing? Up at the top. Nope. What the hell? I'm all over the place today. Good God. Definitely not that one. That one, right there. And the shield. Duh. God. Because it's fire water, again, the amulet has water. Has a water look to it. Okay, that one's done. Alright, that one is the fire and water with the spiky doohickey on it. Which was, I think, this one. Yes, sir. Just like the fire and air we had last month. Air fire, sorry. Just like that one. The ring had the same spiky bit on it there too. Ridging, because I can type. That one is, I think, fire and earth. Huh, maybe not. Oh, that one might be also the exclusive. Okay, this is going to be a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. That one goes with it because it has the same paw on the shield. So that one is our fire and earth. Yes. That's the fire and earth's ring. Groovy. Okay. That one... Oh, hang on. Which one was that one? Was that this one? Huh. This is going to be quite a bit harder than I thought. Some of these are just so similar in look. There's a crafting material. And there's another one. And that's it. That's the end of the armors. Okay. So I've got a few I still have to sort out here, but really quick before I do that, I'm going to rename these. SF32 Material 1 and SF32 Material 2. I don't know which one's which, of course. Which one goes with exclusive, which one doesn't. But I have 1, 2, 3... I have 3 rings and an amulet that I don't know where they go. So I'm going to guess... Let me look at this one. Oh yeah, that's clearly that. It's clearly the amulet. So the amulet down here at the bottom, which is this one here, that is clearly Armor 1, Fire, Fire, Amulet. And the ring directly below it, right here, if I zoom in and go right to there, it's the same shape, right there, as that is right there. So that is clearly the ring. So that is obviously the ring for armor number 1, which is our dual fire. So that's 2 down. Now what do we have left? So we have the fire and fire. We have the fire and spirit is also done. That's the raid armor. Then we have the amulet and ring for that one are already done. Amulet and ring, I already know that one's done. The amulet and ring for the other raid armor is also done. Fire and spirit, this one I'll have to look at because I'm not 100% positive. That is definitely the shield. So if you look right here, that right there, that shape, and you go back to that, it's the same shape. It's identical, just the color scheme is different. So I know that one's right. And the ring is also right, so I know that one's correct as well. So, moving on, we go to the fire and water, which that's clearly the right amulet, or the right amulet for it. But the ring, I am still missing, it looks like. Yes, I'm still missing the ring for this one. So, got to figure that one out. So which one's the ring for this puppy? It might be that one with the dots, to be honest. because it doesn't look... Actually, that kind of looks like the front of the head right there, that like kind of face mask looking thing, steampunky looking thing. That looks an awful lot like that, and it does also have the same kind of dots. Let me open it up here so you can see it side by side. Come on, stupid thing. Open. Thank you. God damn. Okay, zoom in. So this right here has a lot of similarities to that front of that face mask right there. But that's about the only real similarity it has. The color scheme's also very similar. The color scheme of, like, you can see like the different color schemes on the shoulder plate here between that color there and that color there is very similar. Just vice versa, flip-flopped. And the dots on the feet, the dots on the front of the head there, it does look very similar, very, very similar to that kind of color scheme. The only concern oh, actually no, then there's that golden band around there is also right there, and also on the weapon. So that's got to be the ring for it, which is armor 7. Okay, so we'll go down to here, armor 7, fire water, done. Okay, so now we only have one left, one ring, and that is this guy right here, which means this one kind of has to go with it. Not really anything else left for it to go with. And it does have kind of that same sort of, you know, glowy eye look to it, and it has the same sort of color scheme. So, oh yeah, it looks just like the shoulder right there. Okay, cool, done. Everything is now sorted out. So this one is now armor 10. If I could type today, for the love of God, there we go. That is the ring. Okay, done. Okay, so now we're going to take everything here, we're going to copy into the folder I already created for this, like so. We're going to grab the bosses out of here, like so. Now, as I mentioned earlier on, you may not have been watching at the time, there are no pets yet. There will be, they're just not here yet. This file itself was actually delayed by almost a week. I think it was 5 or 6 days. And there was one armor added between this one and the first one that I got on Wednesday, I think, of last week, of this week that just ended. So there's still no pets. There will be eventually, they just aren't there yet. And like I said earlier on, there should be 3 raids and 2 wars. So in total there should be 10 armors. So we have 4 seasonals, exclusive, and then the other 3. Then we have a fusion armor, which is number 5. Then we have raid, war, raid, war, raid. There should be 10 in total. So the only thing I'm not sure about is what events are going to be what, and if there are in fact 3 raids, where's the 3rd raid boss? There's only 2 in the files, so that may change also. If it does, of course, I'll update the sheet, but for now, that's all there is. So we're going to start off by assembling some armors here, or not start off, but we're going to move on to assembling some armors here. Guess this will take a minute because the editing application I use it crawls like a snail's pace if I haven't used it in a few days. And I haven't, so it's going to take a minute for it to open. So there's armor number 5, armor number 2, number 1, 4, 3, okay, there we go. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go with number 5 first. I'm going to do this in reverse order to be different and difficult. Armor number 1, in this case, armor number 5 is actually in the files. This is our raid armor, water and fire and water, rather. Alrighty, there's our head. Grab our body. There we go. And the legs. About like that. And we grab our arm, Zoom out here a bit. That looks good right there. Yeah, right there. Okay. So there is our raid armor number 1, or technically number 2 in the files, but I'm not sure which order they're going to be in. But that's fire and water number 1 of the files so far. Now we're going to grab our shield, and I'll show this in just a minute when we get back to the bosses. But that little kind of ring right there, the ring shape, looks just like the boss, one of the elements of the boss that it goes with. There's the shield, which unfortunately, as usual, covers up almost the entire arm. And then we have the weapon. That little golden spiky bit, just like on the shield, right here, going around this side, looks again just like the boss. And let me just put this on here really fast, and I'll jump back to that boss so you can really kind of see it and get some context as to what I mean when I say it looks just like the boss. There we go. Let me get this armor completed before I do that, though. And this is going to be in the very background, like about like. So, okay. Oops, that's a little bit shy of what I wanted to be. Let's do 300. 3,000. Not even close. Okay, let's put that about right. Y'all? Yeah. I'm going to save this. Where am I going here? Derp. Right there. This is armor 5, fire water. Wait a minute, that's not the folder I wanted. Oh, did I put them in the wrong folder? I did. Fucking derp. I copied everything? Shit. Hang on a second. I copied everything over and did not want to copy everything over. So these... Did I seriously do that? I did. Good God. Okay. So I didn't want to actually copy everything to this folder. I only wanted to copy the head, the amulet. I copied everything. God damn it. Okay. Just a second. Let me go through this and clear this back all out again where I wanted it to be, because we don't need every single image in here. We only need the head, the ring, and the amulet for each one, because I'm going to be making the armor images for the rest. Reconnect brain, restart, and try again. Good God, my brain needs a fucking reboot. Sorry, it's been one of those weeks. It's just, and the week's not even started yet. It's just been, yeah. It has not been a fun few days. Busy as hell, to put it mildly. Okay, so now we should have the amulet head ring all the way down. Okay, good. Now, minimize. If I go back into here now, hey, what do you know? So this is armor 5, fire water, Dunsky. Okay, so let me jump back to the boss, but let me actually go back to the main boss's folder. So if I go into here, you can see there's that ring right there, and it's got this very kind of goldish, you know, sort of shape. And if you look at the armor, the armor that goes with it, right there. Slide it over here so you can see a bit better. My screen's freaking out. You can kind of see the same sort of color scheme across this. So it's got the same sort of spiky bits across the forehead that matches this. The same sort of, you can see right there on the arm as well of the creature, and down the arm here of the creature. So it looks like kind of like a cat, sort of like a saber-toothed cat. But it does have that same sort of color scheme to it. Anyway, so that's our raid boss. There's our raid armor. Just so everyone can see it. Okay. Now we'll go back to here, back to here. That's where I wanted to be in the first place, because I want to go back to here after I get done doing the first 5. Okay. Armor number 4, which is our Grizzly Executioner, exclusive Spirit and Earth from a while back. That's the reskin of this one. Or this one is the reskin of that one, I should say. Be a bit more accurate. Not really sure what I think about this color scheme, though, to be honest. I mean, I like the original quite a lot, but this one's just kind of, I don't know, doesn't really, I mean, I'll reserve judgment till I finish assembling it, but gotta say, up front, first initial impression, I'm not a big fan. I don't like it when they reskin exclusives, period, to be honest, but whatever. I should say I don't like it when they reuse them, because they have reused a couple now. Reused and or reskinned. Okay, I have to say it's not quite as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. It's actually not bad looking at all. But again, it's still the exclusive, and I'm not a big fan of the reskins in general, but I don't like reskins or reused exclusive armors. Like the Slipstream Scale Guard, that was an exclusive Air and Water from season 5 or 6, something like that, was reused twice. There was the Slipstream Reborn, and then the something's Tidal Surge Scale Guard or whatever it was for the Epic Boss Reloaded armor for this month. So it's been used actually twice in very recent memory. Okay. There's the weapon, this big old axe-looking thing with the big skulls across everywhere. Pretty cool. I did love this armor originally when it first came out, so it's not a surprise that I would like this one. I'm not a big fan of it, as I said, of reskins in general. But it's still a good-looking armor, no matter how you slice it. At least I think it is. Oh, for fuck's sake, stop it. Mouse jumping all over the page. There we go. Like about like that. Okay. That one's a bit smaller, not quite as huge. Okay, now we have armor number 3, which is the Fire and Water. This one is not a raid armor. This one I'm thinking is going to be a seasonal. Not positive, of course, but it's what I think a seasonal, it looks like a seasonal. It's pretty cool looking too, I think. It's kind of like some sort of like wizard or something. With this big spiked mace. Long-handled spiked mace. About like that. Right there. Okay. Look at our legs, which are down here, and it has these nice spiky toes. Kind of like... They look like actual spikes, as opposed to it just being pointy-toed boots. It looks actually like spikes, which I think is pretty cool. About like that. And we have these spikes coming off the arms as well. Off the elbow and that sort of area. Kind of trying to figure out where that fits. That about right there I think will work. Okay. So there's that one, without anything on it. Shield, which again has these spiky sort of bladed bits to it. Which unfortunately, as usual, covers up most of the arm. Okay. blend in that wrist a little bit as well. It's pretty common to actually have to blend in these wrists because there's a lot of overlap between the original image where the hand is on the arm when you actually attach it to the, or when you're putting it together, and then when you put the hand that actually holds the weapon on top of it, you usually have to blend something. It doesn't, it's rarely, if ever, that it will come through and be nice and clean already and just plunk right on top of it. Okay. Now I'll get the rest of this big old long ass handle on this thing. It's freaking huge. This is going to go right about... Did I just nail that right on the nose? Yes, I pretty much did. Okay, there we go. There we go. So there's armor number 3, which is fire and water. Okay, width-wise, about 290. Whoops. Haha! 290, there we go. Let's make it more square, shall we? Boom, right about down to there. And save. Number 3, fire water. Okay, now we have our fire and spirit. This is the other raid armor. And I cannot, again, for the life of me, remember the name of this armor originally. This is the other raid armor. Fire spirit instead of fire water. And this one, I think I've mentioned it before, was originally fire and air, earth and air, if memory serves. Got over. That looks good right there, actually. Keep moving it around and don't need to. This one has a very kind of blocky look to it, kind of like the war armor we just had recently. There was a reskin of a Fire and Earth from season 5 or something, season 6. This has the same kind of blocky-ish look to it, which I kind of like, but at the same time a lot of people don't, because it's just a little too blocky. But it's very, you know, reminiscent of back then when a lot of the armors had that kind of blocky look to them. They weren't quite as pretty, I guess you could say. So, yeah, this one has a lot of the same sort of blocky effects to it as well. So this is going to go right almost up to that head, but not quite. So there is that one, before adding anything else. So I'll add the shield, which unfortunately, as per the usual, covers up most of that arm. But still a cool looking armor nonetheless. This was raid armor originally as well, and I was, unfortunately at the time when this armor came out, I was just new to an alliance and had like really, really bad crap armors at the time, so I couldn't get it top rank no matter what I tried. So it wouldn't have mattered. I did, I think, get the ring and amulet set at least, but I didn't get anything else. I just wasn't strong enough, and I had to spend quite a lot of gems to even get to that point, because it's been 10 and 15 million, you know, since, for a long time now, for the ring and amulet set anyway, and most people that are, you know, that are going and running, you know, in top runs for these armors, usually don't care much about the armor itself, at least from my experience, because they rarely, if ever, use them. They're usually doing the raids to get the milestones for the exclusive materials. Stop it, you dumb thing. Stop zooming out farther than I want you to. There we go. Yeah, they're mostly doing it for the milestones. They're not doing it for the armors. They rarely, if ever, actually use them. At least from my experience, anyway. Okay. Get that kind of centered there. Go like that. Armor 2, Fire Spirit. That is, again, raid armor number 1 in the files, but the second one I've put together so far. Now we have the exclusive dual fire. And I've had a lot of people ask me just recently if they're going to continue doing adjacent, or if they're going to go back to doing adjacent, or if they're going to keep the duels. I honestly have no idea. It's possible they may keep it. They may keep with the current theme that they've been doing for a while now, that they've been doing duels. But I don't know. It's possible they may switch back to adjacents again for a few months. Like do each cycle kind of adjacent for 5, duals for 5, adjacent for 5. I don't know. It's something that's been recommended to them at the least, but whether or not they do it, I don't know. It's hard to say. I could not say for sure. Looks almost like he has like a kind of a fire retardant face mask on or something. It's kind of cool. Trying to get this to look like it's supposed to. That looks about right. Okay. Now we get our legs. And this weapon looks almost like a scythe, like Death would carry, but reversed. So instead of it curving down like this, it curves up like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just a curved sword. Who knows? Maybe I'm just looking too much into it. Okay. Line this guy up here. Like about like that. There we go. Perfect. And the arm, there's the arm right there with all these fiery spikes coming off the side of it. Stop it, mouse. Just randomly just unselects while I'm holding the mouse down. I think it's a RAM problem. Either that or I need to reinstall Windows, because hey, it's Windows after all. You can't expect it to be too good. Okay, I'll put this right here where it's actually on top, which is something I normally almost never do. I normally never have to put the arm on top of the head. It's usually a layer below it because it doesn't normally need to be a layer above. But this time I have to put the arm above it, which is weird. Not something I normally have to do. Okay, that's the armor without anything attached to it. Pretty cool, actually. Okay, now we have our shield, which is going to go over that arm for the most part. Like so. And then the weapon like so. Okay. And this looks like, with most of the armors lately, there look to be like a glove or gauntlet or of some kind on the hands. This looks to be a bare hand. At least the color scheme does anyway. Maybe it's just, again, I could be looking too much into it. But it looks a little reddish, of course, but kind of almost looks like a regular skin-colored hand. Almost. There's the rest of that hilt at the base. That right about here. And there it is. There's the dual fire, fully assembled. That about right there. This one's kind of tall. Yeah, it is pretty tall. There we go. Yeah, it does look pretty cool. It definitely does. Okay, armor number 6. Let's get the rest of these guys assembled. Get the full sheet prepared. All that good stuff. And I'm going to leave a spot on the final sheet for the pets, because usually they're kind of in that bottom left-hand corner. I guess from your perspective it would be here. The bottom left corner where I usually put them. I'm just going to leave a blank spot, because there's going to be pets eventually, I just don't have them yet. Alright. Just a moment. Alright. So, that's armor number 10, armor number 9, armor number 7, armor number 6. Okay, cool. Alright. Let's do armor number 10. This is the second fire in air. And there are, in fact, 10 armors this month, so it's possible that we're just missing a boss. I honestly couldn't say. Or it's possible that the raid that would be happening normally at the end of March, that last weekend of March, might actually be part of April. I honestly don't know. But there is at least, if there's going to be 5 events this month in March, there should be one more boss. And there isn't. So I'm not really honestly sure. Looks pretty good there. Somebody definitely has a steampunk. Somebody definitely likes steampunk. in their art team. There are steampunk armors like every single month, it seems like. Not that I'm complaining, I think they look pretty cool generally, but it's just odd. That's all. Okay, there's that one. Now that I look at that, shoulder looks very robotic. Like there's the mouthpiece there, the top of the head, the ears, and then the eyes. Very robotic look to it, of course, which the armor itself also has a very robotic look to it in general as well. About like that. So there's that armor without anything added to it. We have our very square-ish looking, whoops, stop it, mouse. God damn it, what are you doing? It's jumping all over the place on me. I'm going straight down and it jumps to the left on me, or to the right on me. Very irritating. Okay, so there's the shield. Just going to go right about here. Then we have the weapon, which is this big, long, like, cylinder. I don't know what you even call it. Like a stun baton or something. There we go. And as per the usual, I have to blend in that wrist. Just a little on that one, not too bad. And jump over to here to grab the bottom end of that hilt, that handle, and it just jumped on me again. I went like this, and it jumped all the way over. Yeah, I've definitely got to get some upgrades on this computer. I'm overdue. This is an old machine. It has been through the ringer a few times already. Okay, there we go. Alright. Oh, speaking of which, I keep forgetting to mention this at the beginning of the video because sometimes people aren't even watching at that point in time. But if you're watching this live on Twitch right now, directly below the window where you're viewing it, there's a donate button on there. If you feel so inclined, there is a donate button where you can donate actual dollars, or there's also a link where you can actually go and look at my wish list on Amazon, which is mostly just live streaming gear, like better microphone, better camera, stuff like that. A USB port or USB hub that I can use for a couple of different accessories. You know, things of that nature, just to kind of improve the live streaming experience. Again, if you feel so inclined. Oops, I should have made that smaller. Let's do 270. Much better. Okay. I'm not expecting it, of course, but if you do feel so inclined, it is there. Six armors down. Okay. Fire and Earth. The only Fire and Earth, which means this one has to be a seasonal. Pretty much guaranteed. There isn't really any other option. Okay. And that one jumped quite a bit on me too, but not quite as far as the last one did. This one is kind of looking more like a regular sort of knight's armor. Kind of Spartan-esque, actually. Just 1 second here. Definitely has a Spartan sort of feel to it, for sure. Alrighty. Where are the legs? There they are. There's even that kind of off-colored paw print, or whatever that is. I'm not sure if it's a paw print or whatever, what that right there is, but it's the same kind of color on the chest plate right here in the middle, the breastplate, if you will, and then it's also right here in on the sides of the legs and on the shield. Where's that other arm? There it is. Okay. What this does definitely look like a traditional sort of knight's outfit, like a knight's actual armor, which I like. I always like the ones that look like traditional knight's armors. So there's that paw print again. I'm not sure if it's actually like a bear or what it's supposed to be, but it's a paw print of some kind anyway. So there's that armor, and with a shield on top of it, again, unfortunately, it covers up most of that arm. But you still get to see these spiky bits on the shoulder at least. Alrighty. And the hand as usual, I'm going to have to blend right there. About like that. And where's the rest of the handle? There it is. Handle, hilt, whatever term you prefer. There we go, much better. It's got this nice looking axe looking thing. Like a hammer almost with axe, like, well, like a hammer with spiky bits on the end. Okay. Maybe up to about here. Okay, now we got about 260. Yep, looks good. Number 9, Fire and Earth. Again, that's the only Fire and Earth in the file, so therefore that one's going to be our seasonal. Fire and Spirit. This is going to be a little bit tougher on as far as estimating what armors are going to be what armors are going to go with what like event, or if they're going to be seasonal or whatever. Not going to be quite as easy this time around. They usually don't use reskins or recolors, if you will, for seasonals, so we're likely not going to have any of those. Like the Grizzly Executioner reskin, for example, that Fire and Air, is very unlikely that one would be used as a seasonal, but the other Fire and Air most likely would be. So that kind of more robotic sort of steampunk one that I did in this second batch. That first one I did just 2 armors ago. That one's most likely going to be a seasonal. Again, they don't usually like to use reskins for the seasonals. They have in the past, but it's really, really rare that they do it. So, alright. Anyway, moving on. There's that one. And now we're going to add in our massive shield. Which, as usual, covers up almost the entire arm. It's massive. Of course, this weapon isn't exactly small. It's huge as well. Come on, I clicked on it, you dumb thing. Thank you. Blend in the wrist a little bit. There we go. And grab the end of the hilt. Drop that in place. Back here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Okay. This is a wide one too. This is pretty wide, actually. A lot wider than they usually are. Oh shit, that was armor. Damn it. Okay, I gotta go back. Hang on. I renamed it as the wrong one. It's actually not Fire Water. It's actually Fire Spirit, and it's armor number 8. Renamed the wrong one. There we go. Okay. Getting that out of my way. Okay. Now, the Fire Water was actually this one. That's what I meant to do. So this one is, my guess at this point, this one's going to be another season. It's hard to say, though. I'll look at it once I have them kind of all laid out on the sheet and kind of give a more detailed breakdown, but it's hard to tell. It's going to be hard to tell this time because we have 3 Fire Spirits and 3 Fire Waters. In addition to the 2 Fire Airs, and then we have a Fire Earth, and then the dual Fire. So, it's going to be a bit harder to figure out this month. Like last month, that odd, that second water and spirit that we ended up having as that Valentine's armor. That one ended up working out just fine because it was like, oh yeah, it's Valentine's event because the end of the weapon looked like a heart, the shield looked like an upside down heart. I mean, it was relatively clear without needing to be told, but it's it's an easy assumption to make. If I could talk, it would be helpful. So it's easier to see on that one. This one, not so much. It's definitely going to be harder to tell on this one for sure. Which is going to be which. Oops, no, don't do that, you dumb thing. I'm going to copy and I hit the wrong key. Oops, can I move that one? Okay. Like about like so. This big old massive shield. I mean, this is one of the biggest shields I've seen in quite a while. Just because of these pokey bits that stick out the side. So there's that one, without anything added to it. And this massive shield that covers up, again, most of that arm, which is kind of a bummer because you can't really not have the shield equipped when you're looking at the armors in game. That one needs a lot of blending. This big old huge massive thing right in the way there. I guess it's not as much as I thought it was going to be. Not as bad as I thought. I was expecting it to be a lot worse than that, judging on the size of it. But it wasn't that bad after all. Like about like so. That one's also got a massive weapon on it, which is going to make this one incredibly wide also. There's a couple of them that are pretty wide, that are pretty huge all the way around. This one's going to be one of the biggest ones, I think. Yeah, this is going to be huge. Holy shit. Yeah, that's massive. That's like the size of the Decatron, as far as width is concerned. Decatron is by far the widest armor that had been released in the game up to that point, and this one is the same size, width-wise. It's huge. Completely massive. Truthfully, more massive than it really needs to be, if you ask me. Okay, so this is Armor 7. This is the one I actually meant to name as Armor 7. Go, close, close. Alright, now we have, again, what I think is going to be the fusion armor. It might not be, but it looks to me like it would be. There's kind of these almost dreadlocky things coming off the back of the head, which are kind of look more like pipes or tubing, which I think is pretty cool, honestly. There we go. Harder to tell on that. The head's kind of a weird shape. That front of the head, rather, is kind of a weird shape. Kind of throws you off a bit on where the chest needs to line up with it. Usually they're pretty easy to spot, but that one's a little off, so it's harder to see for sure where it belongs. That one's going to go right about there. Well, yeah, that's actually pretty good. Right there. Okay. Where's my arm? There it is. And there is that armor. Not anything added to it. I think this one right here might be my favorite this month. I generally like Fire and Spirit though, so that's not a big surprise. But I do like the look of this armor quite a lot. And this weapon is also freaking massive. It's cool looking, don't get me wrong, but it's humongous. And look at the size of that thing. It's just huge. Oops, eraser. There we go. Okay, who's messaging me? Stop it. Phone going bonkers. And my notifications are making my watch go bonkers. Okay. And we are almost done with this portion anyway. And we are currently at just about an hour and 20 minutes in on this stream here. Okay, so there is, there we go, that one right about there, and right about there, width-wise, about 290, yep, 295-ish, should be good, actually. I'm going to do 290, I'm going to have a bit more room here. Some of these armors are massive, so we're going to save that one. Armor 6, Fire Spirit. Okay, armors are done. So let me jump back over to my other screen here for just a second. Bear with me. Get that out of the way there. I don't want that in my window. On my last file was 1450 by 1100. Okay, I'm going to delete all that background. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to, oops, actually I want to do it there. Do my square dude here, 350-ish to about 700-ish. There we go. Now we can go back to here. I can start grabbing my armors. So first we have fire and fire. I don't want that actually there. I want that here, like that, so I can go right on top of it. Or actually, in this case, behind it, which is actually not what I wanted. There we go. That's better. I want it on top of that line. So this one is going to be right up against that side, like about like so. This one is going to go right next to it, like about like so. I need to rename that. That's going to bug me. I don't know why that does, but it does bug me. I didn't mean to create a copy of it, you dumb thing. Okay, there we go. That one can go here now. And coincidentally, the big wide puppy is going to be at the end, so that works out. Okay. I may be able to shorten this up, depending on how big the armors are below. There's the big old huge puppy that's not quite as big as some of the other ones, but it's still pretty decent sized. About there. This is the humongous one. This is the biggest one by far in the entire file. And you know what? I may end up having to move you all the way to the right. That's just huge. It's ridiculously huge. This one is not small either. Not as big, but it's still not small. Thankfully, the fire and earth is puny by comparison. And last but not least, our fire and air, which is also relatively small, so we're just going to barely squeeze this in here. Oh, good lord, that is huge. I'm going to have to move these. These are just massive. This one especially is just so huge. I've got to make myself some more room here somehow. Now I can move all these guys over a bit farther. But not quite that far. There we go. And I'm going to move this guy just a hair over as well, just so there's a bit more room between them. And I'm going to reorder the top row just slightly to kind of more mesh with the bottom row. That's pretty good. That'll work. Okay. Yeah, just these three. This guy here, this guy here, and this guy, or sorry, this guy here and this guy here are just massively huge, and then this one isn't exactly small. So it kind of just makes everything look kind of bunched together on that bottom row. I'm going to move my dual over a bit farther away from that side. Okay, there's the armors. So now we can start putting the rings and amulets on these puppies. So we have amulet for our dual fire, ring for our dual fire, about like so. Whoops, not what I wanted. Get that off there, derp. Okay. And the amulet I put directly above the head, mostly and slightly to the right, and then the ring just right next to it with about the same gap between any, between both sets. So there's usually about that much of a gap between them, about like so. And amulet, right about, trying to keep these roughly in alignment with each other. About there. And ring, right about there. Amulet. And ring. Whoops, I don't do that. Number 5. About there. And the ring right about there. Here's the first row. Fire and Spirit. For this guy. Okay. Has this big, tall, like spiked mohawk looking thing coming off the top of his head, makes it look a little off kilter if I line it up perfectly. So I'm going to put that one up just a little bit high because it looks a little funky if I put it right with in line with the rest of them. All right, and last but not least, our fire and air. Okay. About like so. So there's our armors for the month of March. So estimates, or predictions rather I should say, if they maintain the existing methodology of using the duals as the exclusives, obviously this one is the exclusive, it's the only dual fire. Then we have raid armors, which are going to be this guy here, which is fire and spirit, and then this guy over here, which is fire and water. So those are the two raid armors, number 2 and number 5 on the top row. Now the other ones, fire and air, this one's most likely going to be a war, because they don't generally use reskins for seasonals. So this one down here, this fire and air in the bottom right, 5th on the bottom row, will be a seasonal. The fire and earth next to it will also be a seasonal. Then the question at that point is which one of the remaining fire and waters is going to be a seasonal. That part, I don't know. I'm thinking probably going to be this one, or maybe that one. Hard to say. I'm not really sure. And then we have another fire and spirit, and then we have another fire and water besides. So we have two. We have basically a fire and water seasonal, fire and water raid, and then a fire and water war. I'm guessing because there's 3 of them in total. And then we have fire and spirit. We have fire and spirit fusion, fire and spirit raid, and fire and spirit war. Maybe another raid. I don't know. Not really clear. It's possible that this fire and air here might be a raid as well, but there's no 3rd raid boss, so I can't say for sure which one's which. Because usually it's easier to spot when you're looking at the armor and comparing it to the boss. Like this one here, it's obvious because of that glowy, spiky bit around here and also on the weapon. Looks like the boss, so it's easy to spot that one. This one is a raid boss as well from a previous, like a year and a half ago or something. Same armor, same amulet and ring set. It was also a raid armor, and I believe the boss was the same as well, just recolored. So anyway, that's what I think. It's hard to say for sure on the fire waters and fire spirits, but the other ones are relatively simple to easy. Relatively simple to figure out. Too easy. Duh. So let me get the elements on here. First things first, let's get the secondary elements on here first. Let me go back to here. So water is 3, 5, and 7. Okay. So we have 5. Whoops, I need to make a new layer. So there's 5. Put that right about there. 3. Put that right about there. I think I got that right. Yep, okay. And then 7, which is this guy right here. Whoa, don't do that now. Get back up there. What about there? Okay, now we're going to go back to Spirit, which was 2, 6, and 8. Okay, so 2, which is this guy right here. 2, 6, and 8. Okay. And we have fire. Let's do earth actually really quick, since there's only one of them. Oops, don't do that. Stop it! My scroll mouse and my scroll wheel on my mouse is jumping all over the place. So there's only the one earth, so that one's easy. That guy right about here. Put it down just a hair. There we go. Okay, I want to make sure it looks like it's matching up with the rest. Okay, then we have air, which is going to be here and here. Okay. Everything else is fire. So fire and fire, of course, which will go right about here. And this one's going to go right about, oops, forget I have that graphic a little bit too small to butt up against itself really well. There we go. Fire here. The rest of them are all just going to be fires attaching to the existing. Let's go there. Okay. And that one's going to go right about there. And this one's going to go right about there. And that one right about there. And we are just about done. Hey TP, how's it going? Didn't see you join there. Doing pretty well. Been a long week. But it's almost, well, it's just about to start actually. You got here at the end. Yeah, I've been going for a little over an hour and a half now. So yeah, you're up just catching the very tail end of it. Okay, there's the armors and the elements. Ta-da! So there we are. That's what we have so far. Then of course I'll put bosses, I'll put, you know, all the rest of the stuff in here. And we are just about done. So, we're going to use this existing layer we already created here. Let me just unselect. Ah, nice. Sounds like fun. Maybe not, but it sounds like it might be. So let's put that about there. Fill that puppy up. And then we're going to get some text going on here. That box is a bit big. I may shorten it up. Yeah, the exclusive's looking pretty cool. I mean, it's dual fire, so it's going to be, as usual, a glass cannon. But, you know, it is what it is. They usually are. Yeah, so there's exclusive right there. Nice looking, I think. I was going to share it when I got done, yeah. I usually put it up on KnD bot immediately after I get done as well, so not a problem. Okay, now we got to get the materials, which again, I have no idea which material's which, so I'm just going to put them here to the sides, like I usually do. Like so. There's that. There's the crafting materials. I have, again, no idea which one's which. Now we're going to grab boss number 1. Put you right about there. And this one right about there. Line them up as good as I can here. Looks pretty good right about there. Now I got to grab the elements again. Whoops. It's entirely possible. No way of knowing, of course, but who knows? It could be. Come on, stop it, you dumb thing. I'm trying to go to a different window here, and it keeps jumping all over the place. Stop it! God damn it. Stupid computer. It's starting to really piss me off. Okay. Elements. Fire. We've got fire, number 1. Just going to go right about here. Okay. And right about there. I think I got that pretty lined up. Yep, looks pretty good. Okay. Now we have spirit, which was shit. Which one was it now? This one's fire water. Okay. I'm just kidding. Messing myself up. Don't mind me. There's that one, and fire and water, which is the other one. It's going to go right about there. Okay, so there's our bosses. And we can now go back for the cape, which is right here. Whoops, don't do that. Which is this one right here. Copy that one, and we're going to drop this puppy right about there. Now we can put in our text boxes, which I can of course move in a minute if I don't like where they are. About like so. Okay. Now I'm going to try something here. Groovy. 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 Okay, let me just do that really quick on all 3. Cool. Looks good. Alright. So let me save this really quick. Now, as I said earlier, some of you may have missed it. Hey, Joanna, how's it going? And Volcanator. Well, yeah, it's Fire Month, and therefore it's going to be adjacent elements only, because they're adjacent elements. Actually, I found this out just recently. The raids are going to be adjacent elements for the foreseeable future, because there were people complaining constantly that the raids were non-adjacent. So that's the reason why they've been adjacent for so long, is because people complain too much about the non-adjacent raids. So by association, that means the Blitz raids are going to be non-adjacent. That's just the way it's going to be. Unfortunately, that's actually by player request. Adjacent element raids. So Fire Water, Fire Spirit. Next month, after that, will be Spirit Earth and Spirit Fire. It's just the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future. Unless they decide to change things again, which is very unlikely. Okay, so let me put one more text box down here. I'm just going to put it roughly about there. And that there. And this is going to be pets. But there aren't any in the files currently, so I'm just going to leave this here for now. Yeah, they used to do one adjacent, one not, and then apparently they got so many complaints that there was that one off-element raid that just apparently pissed off too many people, and people complained, which people are going to complain anyway, no matter what they do. So they changed it. They changed it to be all adjacents. Every single raid is adjacent elements now. But again, in March, since there are 3 weekends in March that should be raids, I don't know what they're going to do. It's entirely possible they may do one off-element raid, because there's 3. If I scroll up here, this guy... Would you stop that? Oh, it's because I have text in there, sorry. It's jumping all over the fucking place. This guy, which is the Grizzly Executioner reskin, it's possible. Don't quote me, but it's possible they may use that one for a raid. Since when have they ever cared what we say? You'd be surprised, actually. You'd be very surprised. They can't always do what people ask for, but they do listen, actually quite a lot. You like the reskin because you just to have it? Yeah, yeah, I like it too. I mean, it's pretty cool looking all in all. And there's actually, in this month, there's actually only, hold your applause, 2 reskins. 1, 2, only 2. Usually there's a minimum of 3, sometimes 4. I don't know if it looks better necessarily. I like it, but I like the original too. But there are only 2 reskins this month, which is actually quite a bit lower than the norm. And that might actually be because I sent them a message and said, there's been a lot of reskins. Can you kind of not do as many, please? And they actually kind of listened. So, 1, 2, only 2. Which is pretty cool, if you ask me. Alright, so, here we go. Did I put that really in the back layer? I may have. Shit. Oh, it still worked. Okay, good. Let me just save that as is really quick before I move on. Now I'm going to go back to my text box here, and we have Fire and Water, which is the top row 5th. Bottom left, Fire Spirit. No, definitely not a reskin. Nothing like that I've seen before, ever. You're talking about that one right there. It's definitely not a reskin. I haven't seen anything like that in the files, and I've been actually doing the data mines for I think 2 years now, and this is season 32. So I've been doing it since roughly season 10, or maybe season 9, something like that. And there has not been an armor that looks like that I have ever seen. So it's possible, but I don't think so. Is that Fluffum's Bunny? Okay, I couldn't read that. I was like, what is that? There's that name. Yeah, I don't think so. The only other one looks like a combo of the Earth, Fire, second to right, bottom row. That one right there. That one does kind of look like a combo. Like they took kind of the elements of one armor and the elements of another armor and kind of smashed them together. But it's different enough that it doesn't look like a reskin. At least to me, anyway. So, anyway, let me get my text in here. Pop out my little color palette doohickey right here. So Fire and Water is first row, 5th armor. Okay, I'm going to go here. First row. God damn it, type, freaking bonehead. 5th armor. Move that up just a hair so it's more kind of in line. Do I think of the seasonal date? What do I think the seasonals are? Okay, sorry. So seasonals, fire, definitely, unless they go back to fire, water, which it's possible they might. I've heard a lot of, both ways. But I haven't heard confirmation from one way or the other from Deca themselves. So fire and fire, of course, if they stay with exclusive as dual. And then we have the Fire and Earth down here, which is the only Fire and Earth, so therefore it's got to be seasonal. Fire and Spirit is going to be fusion, again, if they stay with the, adjacent being a fusion and the dual being exclusive. And then Fire and Air is most likely going to be this Fire Air in the bottom right corner, because this one's a reskin and they don't normally use reskins for seasonals. And then as far as Fire Water is concerned, I truthfully don't know. It could be this one. I don't know. It could be that one. It's hard to say. My thinking, personally, is that it's going to be this one. The top row 3rd, but hard to say. It could be this one. And then the other Fire Spirits, or the other fire spirit here, I honestly don't know what that's for. I really have no idea. And then the fire air, I don't know for sure what that one's for either. So this month we have the weekends of, let me pull my calendar up, the weekends of the 1st, which is a raid. We have the 8th, which is a war, the 15th, which is a raid, the 22nd, which is a war, and then the, sorry, I went one month too far ahead. First is raid, 8th is war, 15th is raid, 22nd is war, 29th is raid. So there's 3 weekends for raids. So, but there's only 2 raid bosses. So I'm going to leave this kind of the way it is for now, but I may end up revamping this slightly and kind of shifting things around if they put another raid boss in the files or something similar. Obviously I'm going to have to update it because there's no pets, but I may have to also update it for the raid bosses as well. So this one is first row, second armor. Let me shift that again as well. And now I can change my doohickey here. Change my color to March 2019 Datamine. I may have to move that cape. I'm probably going to have to move that cape actually. Yep, I'm going to do that. Move you actually up a bit, about like that. And I think I have this in the same layer, I think. Not sure if I do or not. Whoops, move. I do, hooray, makes it easier. I need to move this boss's one over as well. Nope, stop that. Clicked out of it, you goof. Okay, this boss's one's off-center. It's going to bug me if it isn't centered. Right there, okay. Okay, let me try this again. Kind of go back out to here. And it's freaking out on me again. Stop that. There we go. And I can now kind of shove that in the bottom corner. And I'm going to now put this season 32. And I can now do this. Like so. That's it. So we're basically done. So again, just a final thoughts on this. Dual fire, of course, if they maintain duels, it will be the exclusive. The fire and spirit, I'm thinking this one is going to be the fusion. Fire and spirit here is raid. Fire and air, fire and water here is raid. And then we have the fire and waters. I'm honestly not sure. One of them is going to be seasonal. The other one's probably a war. Then we have fire and earth down here is a seasonal. Fire and air down here is a seasonal. The fire and air up here, again, I'm not sure. Could be a war. No, I really don't know. Because there's 10 armors, and there's enough events for 10 armors. So the fusion armor will be fire and spirit if they maintain the duels as exclusives. So that one will be either this one here or this one here. It's hard to say for sure which one. I think it's probably this one, but I really can't guarantee it. And then fire and water for the seasonals is going to be one of these two here, third row top or second, or third on top or second on bottom. One of those two. And then the fire and spirit over here, I truthfully have no idea. So these two here I'm not really sure about. These two, one of these is going to be seasonal, the other one's going to be a war. Unless they do a fire spirit war and a fire air war, which is possible. So it's hard to say. But that's the file, that's it, we're ready to roll. Other than pets and possibly some more data relating to an upcoming raid boss, if there's more raid bosses, of course I'll update this and kind of shift everything around. But for now, let me just do a final save. There we go. And now I'm going to save that as the final product. And we're going to close that, close you, minimize you, back over to here, and there it is. There's the final file. So, of course, not final. This is the one without pets, obviously. And this is, of course, going to need updating if there's more raid bosses and etc. brought into the files as well. So, for now, that's it. And we're now just at about the 1 hour and 49-minute mark, so right around the normal time I usually finish. So, problems or questions, of course, hit me up online. But I'm going to end the stream here in just a moment, and then I will start sending this out online and putting it on KnD bot and everything else. So everyone should have it here shortly. So otherwise, we're done. Have a great rest of your weekend, and kick ass in the Blitz War tomorrow. Thanks, guys.